Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Batter, a podcast about how brands, business owners, and entrepreneurs rise. I'm your host, Jill Miller of Vera Creative, a small marketing firm in the Chicagoland area, where I'm also a part-time instructor of an advertising course at St. Xavier University. Join me as I hang out and talk to people who know all about the ingredients to success and the recipes for disaster. Welcome, everybody, to episode 9 of The Batter. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the episode. We have an awesome giveaway. I want you all to enter. I want you all eligible to win. So just make sure you tune in all the way to the very end when our guest, Ashley Stamper of Beauty Counter, tells us all about her generous giveaway. So, Ashley, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. So let me tell you a little bit about Beauty Counter. It is a wellness brand, and the mission is to get safer products into the hands of everyone. They sell skincare, body care. There's a men's line, kids line, everything from sunscreen, beard oil, actual makeup. I actually started using Beauty Counter a little over a year ago. I bought blush and eyeshadow, and you know, I've always been kind of turned off to MLM companies, honestly. And, you know, I had an experience about 2 years ago with a lady who, you know, wanted me to be in an MLM with her. And she, you could tell she only wanted to be my friend, basically, because she wanted me to be in, you know, work with her. And so, I don't know, just that experience, and I'm just very hesitant of things like that because I'm a CPA, I'm an accountant, and I know that, you know, in my mind it was like, well, the money I spend on it, I'm not going to make money back because I'm going to spend money on it. And I just didn't really understand what it was. And so basically I resigned from my position a little over a year ago, and, you know, I'm home with my child now, and then I've had 4 miscarriages, and so I've been on this journey to basically a wellness journey to take care of my body, to just learn. I've had more free time, obviously, so I've learned more about cleaning products, and, you know, I'm just now kind of tapping into, which is so surprising to me, is the things that we put on our body are harmful. They're hormone disruptors. They're cancer-causing. There's really no regulation, and the last law that regulated, you know, the beauty industry was like in 1938, and
oh wow,
I think, yeah, and so the U.S., they banned like 30 chemicals. Beauty Counter has the never list, and they banned like 1,800. Like the European Union, just to give you some perspective, they banned like 1,400. So I mean, the U.S. is just kind of behind, and, you know, imagine all the chemicals that have been created since the 30s.
Right.
And so, I don't know, for me, I wanted to start using it. So the main reason was sunscreen. You know, every day I would lather up in sunscreen and put this stuff all over my body. And I started looking at the EWG website, which is the Environmental Working Group, and it rates products, you know, A through F on how safe they are for you, and it tells you about the different ingredients and whatnot. Anyway, so I basically wanted to sell Beauty Counter, to be fully transparent, to get the discount. And, you know, in my mind, I'm like, okay.
I mean, we'll do anything for a discount, let's be honest.
Right? I will do anything for a discount. And I was like, okay, my discount, I can, you know, save this much, pay this much, and it's a wash. You know, I'm going to make that money back. But now, you know, and I thought, oh, I really hope I like the products, because what if I don't like the products? You know, I'm like, well, they have a 60-day money back guarantee. I love the products. Like, I have seen such a big difference in my skin, and my skin is very sensitive, so I introduced new products. You know, it took me a while to introduce. I'd introduce one thing at a time and see, you know, what I thought about it, and to make sure I didn't break out or anything. But I love it, and I want to tell the whole world about it. And I just feel like so many people are, you just don't know what you don't know. And it was just so eye-opening to me to realize that, you know, how quickly things are absorbed into your body that you put on it. And I just want to help women, and I just want to share my journey and really just help people be healthier. So that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that. So you mentioned you left your job as a CPA. Was that because you started Beauty Counter, or was that more related to personal and family reasons?
That was more personal family reasons. I had a 2-year-old at the time, and I just really wanted to be home with him. I just thought, I'll never have this time again. He will never be 2 again. And yeah, it took me a long time to make that decision because I never imagined myself staying home, but it's been the absolute best thing. So then it's been more than a year, and then I started Beauty Counter.
Okay, all right. So let's see. The other thing I wanted, so have you heard, did we talk about, we might have talked about this in our, so for our listeners, Ashley and I have been text friends for a couple months now, I think. So I don't know what we have and haven't talked about, but have we talked about the Think Dirty app?
Yes.
It reminds,
no, okay, we haven't talked about that. No, we haven't.
Do you have that app on your phone?
No, I feel like I've heard of it though. No, I need to look that up.
Well, I'm sure the EWG website is probably more thorough, but the Think Dirty app, basically you just scan a product and it'll rate it 1 to 10 by how dirty or clean it is based off the ingredients.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty snazzy little app. So for listeners out there, just start scanning the things around your home. I think you'll be shocked to learn about all the ingredients and all the harmful chemicals. And there's just massive amounts that we ingest, digest, absorb, like you are talking about, through our skin every single day. It's a little scary. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I started with my MLM. I do Young Living, essential oils, and it was the same thing. I just wanted to clean up the products that I use, and I looked into Young Living, and I liked that they had essential oils, they have cleaners, they have hair care, they have skin care, they have CBD oil, they have pets, children, household cleaners. Did I mention that? Like all the things. So I felt like I didn't have to belong to like 10 different MLMs.
Right.
I could just belong to the one. So I liked how kind of inclusive and comprehensive it was. But yeah, I definitely, I hate sales. Like, I'm the first person to say that. And people are like, well, you're a marketer. How can you hate sales? I'm like, no, they're two different things. They're completely different. And I just can't stand sales. So I've done little to nothing with it. But talk to me about how you found you were able to grow your MLM, I guess, and maybe back up and even explain, if people don't know what a multi-level marketing business is, maybe kind of explain how you guys are tiered or how you make money, and then how did you grow from there?
Well, Beauty Counter will say that we're not actually an MLM, but I mean, we act that way. We're more of a direct sales company, but basically an MLM, which is, it's all in your definition, really. But MLM is when, someone's underneath you and then you're paid a commission based on what they sell. Basically, the difference in Beauty Counter is you don't have to grow your business. You can just sell. You can not sell anything if you don't want. There's really no you really make it your own. It's your own business, and you have the leeway to handle it however you want, which is also something that I really like about it. There's not a lot of pressure, and some people just sign up for the discount. Some people make a career out of it and do really well. The minimum that you have to sell is $1,250 every 6 months, and that includes your orders. So that is just to keep the discount, which is nice. But so really, by the time you order and, a couple people order, you've met that. But I've really had success and growth from my close family and friends. I think they see a difference in my skin, and I want to help them and want to share with them. And I'm so excited about it that, it's just something that I talk about, and it's just natural. And you make anywhere from 25% to 35%. And then they have some extra incentives and bonuses, which is really one of the reasons that, I'm incentivized by money. Which is, who isn't? But in, your first few months, they give you extra incentives to get your business going. And so basically, anything you sell, you get at least 25%. So say you sell just $200, you've made $50. And I don't know. It's kind of cool.
So what does Beauty Counter do in terms of setting you up for success? Like, do they have, do you get your own website? I know that's common with some MLMs, like, business cards. Like, what is the whole what does that look like?
You can sign up for 2 different packages. You can sign up for digital or a print membership, basically, or consultant. So I signed up for the digital, and there's a Counter University, so there's a ton of online training. Anything you can think of, there's product training, and at first when I thought, I started to sell it, I thought, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to learn all this stuff, But in talking to other people, you don't have to learn all the ingredients. You don't have to learn all this. You have to share, and you have to be a resource, and you can look up things and help people in that way. But there's an incredible support group. There are Facebook groups, and women just share pictures and ideas, and I have just been shocked at how surprising the support system is. And on Instagram, there are women that just share and, share their tips and tricks and are happy to answer your questions just to be helpful. And, you're set up with a mentor. So, I signed up under a friend, and any question I have, she's my mentor, and I go to her. And one reason that I picked her is she is very responsive. She is not pushy at all whatsoever. I mean, she said to me before I signed up, well, I think I was interested in signing up, and she said, well, whoever you sign up under, I'm happy to help you. Or if you want to sign up under someone else, just very not pushy, just very, hey, this is an awesome product, I think the product kind of stands alone. But I've just been really surprised by the support system. And there's also, a phone line that you can call in, and if you have any issues, there's a customer support, basically. So it's been a really
I think that's like one of the biggest kind of complaints with MLMs. It's like you get these people that are just kind of beating down your door until you say no. And I think a lot of people are bad at saying no, or we feel bad for saying no, when really we say no, I guess, like virtually all the time. Like, you go look at a product online and you don't buy it. That's a no,
Right.
Once again with the internet barrier. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of right. I feel like that's kind of the biggest it's the biggest complaint with MLMs, and there are a lot of really aggressive salespeople that will not leave you alone. And so it sounds like your experience so far has been pretty different, which is awesome. And what else is like about the company really that draws you in? Anything else you can think of?
Yeah, so soon after I signed up, I love to listen to podcasts. And so I just randomly searched Beauty Counter on podcasts, and I found multiple podcasts where the founder and CEO was the guest. And so I listened to a lot of her, her story, and I just really resonated with her story. She was raised by a single mom. She wanted to do a study abroad, but she didn't have any money. She had to figure out a way to do it, and she started a cleaning business, and she started the wedding list later on in life, which sold to Martha Stewart. So she's just very entrepreneurial, and she's very direct, and she actually started the company. One of the reasons is because someone close to her, I'm not exactly sure what they had, but they had something similar to cancer, but passed away in like 10 months. and she saw a lot of her friends experience infertility, and she thought there's got to be something going on, and there's got to be, and so she started doing research. And so that's really kind of, I think, what drove her to this. And I just really connected with her story, and who, if I knew her personally, I feel like we'd be friends, so I just feel like we just had a lot of similarities, and I want to support and help her. And I don't know, I've always in my life had a female that I've kind of looked up to, and I'm not like a feminist, or anything like that, but just like a female to look up to that is empowering. I think that you want to find the women that empower you and encourage you, and I think that's important.
Yeah, so in a lot of my previous podcasts, we talk about having a mentor and that being one of the ingredients to successes. And I feel like even though she may not mentor you directly, just the fact that you connected with the story, her story, her journey is really kind of an important piece as to what drew you to the brand. And in marketing as a whole, I think that's what it is. That's what, if people don't connect with your brand or what it is you're selling or the person selling it, they're not going to give it their time and their money and their attention. But if you can make a deeper kind of connection, because I think literally, especially in these days, like we're all looking for deeper connections, right? Beyond just an Instagram picture, beyond just the, new you, new look, new you, new year, new you, these slogans and these sayings and these headlines that we read over and over and over, and they're literally become meaningless. And I think it's really important that you touched on that you connect with the story, you connect with the founder, how she got started, you are inspired by her. Yeah, and so I think that leads then to your success, and it will lead. I know you haven't been doing it for very long, but I think that will be what leads to your success as more and more people start to connect with your story. But that means you have to share your story. And what about sharing your story is hard or vulnerable?
Oh, wow. I am a total introvert. I mean, if you had told me that I would be selling anything 10 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. Like I would always sit in the back of the room. I never sit in the front. Even now, like, I'll go to the gym with my friend and she's like, oh, come on, let's stand in the front. And I'm like, I'll stand in the back. Like I don't want attention. I'm just not that personality. I would much rather, not be in the spotlight, but I really enjoy connecting with people. And I think part of that is I used to work all the time, and now I just have free time, and I can enjoy my life and live my life. And not that you can't do that when you work at all whatsoever, but for me, it's just been a good change.
As a CPA, I know you guys have like a lot, like you have busy seasons. So I will say that during your busy season, you probably did not have a lot of free time during tax season, right? Like I know people that just work insane long hours.
It's like work, eat, sleep, and then see my child any second that I can of the day. And, to touch back on what you were saying about social media, something the Beauty Counter really surprised me about is in the training, they tell you do not blast Beauty Counter on social media because it is such a turnoff. And I just thought that was really interesting. It's more about like engaging with people and, being authentic and sharing. And obviously, it's your business and you can share however much or how little you want. But just to make people aware of that, I think some people go into it and think, oh, I have to share everything. And they're very, genuinely excited and don't even think, oh, that could be a turnoff.
Right.
So.
It maybe cheapens the brand a little bit when you have 15, I don't know how many people sell Beauty Counter, but when you have thousands of people selling the same product and they have a different approach to it, you lose some consistency. And if they're using, if somebody's, posts look really crappy, like I'm sorry, but 9 out of 10 websites I visit, I hate and want to puke all over. And then I want to call the business owner up and be like, I could help you.
Right.
But because I'm an introvert and I hate sales, I don't do it.
Really?
But yeah. So, but yeah, like I could see where they're coming from in that sense, where it kind of, and that might be a little harsh. The term cheapen the brand, that might be a little harsh. But I get what they're saying for sure in regards to social media.
Mm-hmm.
So what else then would you say allows you to be successful with this MLM? Or maybe like, how is it allowing you to live the lifestyle that you want to live?
Well, first and foremost, it is more of a passion to me. It's obviously a business as well. And I have my MBA, so I get business and I love business. So it's definitely that to me. I definitely see dollar signs and I definitely understand that. But it's more than that, and it's affecting my life, and it's what I personally use. So it's not like I'm just going out and just, trying to make money and sell these things. So it's definitely personal. I love the flexibility of it. I love that I can be with my child, all the time, and I can work in the evenings, or I can meet people on the weekends, or it's just very flexible. There's not a certain amount of hours or time that you're required to spend on it. It's what you make it.
So what if somebody is listening to this podcast and they're like, yes, this is exactly what I've been looking for, a clean product that I can use and I can make money off of, and I'm going to join and I'm going to be rich. What advice do you have? And notice we're both laughing. What advice do you have for that person?
Do it. Sign up now. Do not wait. It's $50 to sign up to get a website, and do it. Yes, do it. Worst case, you don't sell anything, and that's it. There's no risk.
Okay, but what if they quit their job and they have bills to pay, and they're and they're like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm doing. Like, what do you think about that person? Like, what advice do you have to give? Because there's people out there like that. They latch onto something and they don't really think it through, or they don't set themselves up for success. And with these kinds of things, you have to be really careful, because you really don't know ahead of time what you're going to sell, how much money you're going to make. It's not like you're accepting a position where your job tells you, okay, this is your salary for the year, and you can easily count on that, right? So, like, what do you tell that person to expect, maybe? How do you ground that person?
I would say hold up, wait. Do not quit your job, because, well, let me back up. It took me a good 8-9 months to actually pull the trigger and quit my job. So I am not a risk taker. I want to know all the details. I do not want to be left, in a bind in any way whatsoever. So I would say you can have a full-time job, and you can definitely do this on the side. This is an awesome side hustle, and again, it is what you make it, and it can be no hours a week, or it can be 40, 50 hours a week if you want. It can be whatever you want. And so I would say hold tight on your job, sign up to sell, make sure you love the products, make sure that it's a good fit for you, see how it goes, and then go from there. And you can definitely make it a full-time job, 100%. But, I would definitely get my feet wet, and that's me, the non-risk taker, because it's not guaranteed money, and you're not guaranteed sales. It's a strictly commission-based job.
Do they have big powwows? Like, I know Young Living has big conventions. Well, they didn't this year, obviously, but they have big conventions, and they have you can tour where they make the essential oils, like the lavender fields and those types of things, and they have a lot of maybe team building, networking, events and opportunities. Is that something that Beauty Counter does as well?
They do, and they have a couple physical locations in New York and California, so you can go tour the actual location. So they're diversified in that I'm technically an independent consultant of Beauty Counter, and so there are thousands of us, but that is one way that they sell, and then they also have brick-and-mortar stores, and then they also do partnerships. So right now there's a partnership with Sephora, so they're selling products through Sephora. So they're diversified, but yes, they do have different conferences and things that you can go connect with other Beauty Counter consultants and tour the facilities and whatnot and learn a lot.
Awesome. Is there any story, maybe from when you were just getting started, that you would call was a recipe for disaster? Anything you can think of?
I haven't had anyone break out. I'm trying to think. Like,
that happened to me once. I can't even remember what somebody was selling, but they were like, "Oh, they just gave me this package of this like strawberry facial soap or something." It's just like, try this. I'm like, okay, and like my face got so blotchy and red afterwards.
Oh
and
no!
Like, she saw me at yoga. She's like, "How was it?" I'm like, "Well." And she was just like flabbergasted. She couldn't believe that this thing would like her product that she was so confident in wouldn't work for my skin. So, I mean, it does happen. I'm glad it hasn't happened to you.
Not yet.
It wasn't painful or anything like that, and it was like an all natural skincare line too. It wasn't just some crap that you can get at the drugstore or whatever. But yeah. Well, that's good. No recipes for disaster is good. How do you plan for the future in this business? Like, do you see yourself growing it beyond your family and friends? And like, what are the steps? Like, do you have a business plan or a long-term vision when it comes to Beauty Counter?
Absolutely. I have started a Facebook group and an Instagram page called The Simple Pearl. And at some point I'm going to start a blog. I have the domain and all that good stuff. But honestly, it's just incredibly time consuming, and I want to focus on my child right now. And, so what little time I have to work, I focus on Beauty Counter, actually selling. But, over the long term, like I just want to share with anyone that is willing to listen, so anyone that I can connect through social media, friends of friends. I've had friends say, hey, my friend's getting married. Do you want to do like sample bags? I'm like, of course, and so I hope that it will grow in that way. Obviously I have no control over that. I mean, I guess I do, but I do think that it will grow because I think that there's a movement to be clean and safe, and I think that it's becoming more popular. I have a lot of people that I have spoken with about it, and they already use it, and I had no idea. And they're like, I buy from the lady down the street. And so, I didn't realize how many people actually use it. So I think there's still definitely a market to tap into, and I think you don't realize, or I didn't realize, how many people that I know that I can share it with, that also have friends that can share it with. And it's just, there are a lot of people that you can touch. And my social media presence, The Simple Pearl, I really want to share toddler activities, gluten-free recipes. That's been part of my wellness journey as well, to be gluten-free and to be active. So I share encouragement about, find a friend, get up and walk, make it happen. If I can do it, you can do it, that kind of thing. So just want to be like a happy place on the internet. I want to be a positive place, somewhere people like want to enjoy, it's just right. And,
For sure. Talk to me about the name Simple Pearl.
So my nickname has always been Pearl. My mom used to call me Pearl, my grandmother. And so my husband kind of learned that and took to it, and that's just my nickname is Pearl. And I love to wear pearls, and I want to focus on simple things like simple recipes. I wanted things to be approachable and easy. And, for me, I don't want to be in the kitchen for hours making some elaborate meal. I want quick and tasty. Like, I want more bang for my buck. You know what I mean? I want it to be super good, but also super easy. And same for toddler activities. I feel like a lot of mothers, it's so overwhelming just to think, oh, I need to do all these things with my kids. But there's some things that are just super easy. And so I just want to make things easy for people. I want to help people just find quick, simple answers to things. I had someone ask me, hey, can you come up with snacks to take on like a road trip? Just simple things like that. And I want, and whether you're gluten-free or not, I mean, it's kind of a whole 30-ish diet anyway. I mean, I don't eat like a ton of bread or anything. I never really have. But I want to make that simple for people because I think, at least for me at first, it was very overwhelming. And I was like, wow, how am I going to do this? So I want it to be approachable. I want all these things to be an activity. I want it to be simple. Like, hey, go for a walk. Like, run if you can. Just start,
It's so funny because my mom was just here helping me out, and she was trying to work with my daughter on right and left, and I was like, oh, man, that's another thing I got to teach her. So when you talked about, like, just moms being overwhelmed, it's like, it's like there's thing after thing that your kid doesn't know that you're like, oh, yeah, I got to teach them that. And, like, what, so I like work. My poor child, I work like colors and numbers and counting and language and like and science and like now right and left into everything. So like if I'm getting her dressed, I'll be like the right leg in and now the left leg in. I mean absolutely everything. This poor kid is just like very stimulated with learning, I guess you could say, when she's home with me. She's probably like, when she goes to daycare 2 days a week, she's probably like, freedom! I don't have to learn anything. I just get to play with these toys.
Well, my child has started doing the opposite. Like, he thinks it's funny he knows his left and his right, but he does it backwards. And I'm like, son, that is going to catch up with you. You're going to get confused. Like, no, that is not funny, And he'll I'll say, well, what's that number? And he'll be like, say the wrong number. I'm like, didn't think it's hilarious. I'm like, oh, my word.
Oh, well, getting back to the Simple Pearl, that's great. I love the name. I love when it's personal. Again, it sounds like the whole brand, the whole MLM experience for you has been deeply personal. I think that's what makes it easy for you to stay on track with it, to stick with it, and to share it with people because you know that it's made a difference in your life. And I think a really good business owner is like that's part of the success is just really truly believing in the product with all your heart and not having, yes, money is one goal, but it's not the sole focus. It's really you just care about people. You have a passion and a heart for this, and you want to share and help make people's lives more simple in any way you possibly can. So that's awesome. That's fabulous. And I think that more people are going to start, as you start to open up and share your story, just knowing what I know, I think that people are really going to gravitate to that. I think there are a lot of people that you can help. I think that as a society, we are moving towards a more unhealthy and sicker person on average. And I laugh, but it's not funny. It's actually really sad. But just, given what's the quality of our soil and the quality of our air and the quality of our water, and those are some of the basic things, right? We're breathing every day. We're eating the foods that come from that soil. We're drinking the water. And then the whole healthcare system, if you can even call it a system, I don't know. It's It's a sad, pathetic state of affairs. But and we're just sick. And this is a journey that I have recently started to embark on as well. And so it's great that you and I can connect on podcasts and we text each other. And so I can attest to your heart for this and your passion for sharing it. So I definitely want to encourage my listeners that if you're interested in Beauty Counter, that you should reach out. I know you sort of mentioned your Instagram and Facebook, but tell listeners one more time where they can find you online.
On Instagram, it is at the.simple.pearl. And then Facebook, I have a group called The Simple Pearl.
Cool, great. And the website?
www.beautycounter.com/Ashley Stamper.
Great. Yeah, and for the listeners, I'll put all of those in the podcast notes so that you can access those easily. And so for listening today, if everybody leaves a review, you will be entered to win. What are they going to win? What is your generous giveaway? I'm super stoked about this, Ashley.
You're going to win Face Sunscreen, which is a new launch, a new product, which I love. That's like my number one. And then a sunscreen stick, which is awesome for kids' application. My son loves to put it on himself. I have to hide it from him. So those two products.
So I used to tell my esthetician that I wanted skin like Allie Raisman, and I don't know if you know who Allie Raisman is, but she was a two-time Olympian. She went to the Olympics. She's a gymnast. She went twice. That's like unheard of, first of all, for gymnasts, because they're like one and done, and then they got to retire because their bodies are beat up. But anyway, Allie Raisman, super awesome, amazing gymnast, great role model, huge advocate for the sport and for women and women's rights. And she has the most beautiful skin. So my esthetician and I would always joke about Allie Raisman skin, and I want Allie Raisman skin. And then one day I was like trolling her Instagram, and I saw that she was like, the number one beauty tip that her mother gave her was always wear sunscreen. And so I was like, oh, I have to always wear sunscreen now. That's going to give me beautiful Allie Raisman skin. And it's just funny because I don't normally I'm not diehard like Hollywood people and what they do, I got to do. And I'm not really the follower. I kind of go the opposite direction of everyone else. But since then, I have tried so hard to make sunscreen part of my daily skincare routine because I'm serious about her skin. So I love that you're giving away a facial sunscreen and a sunscreen stick, which is also great for tattoos. You should always put sunscreen over your tattoos because then they don't fade as easily. That's what I use my sun stick for. So anybody out there? Yeah. Just a little life hack for all the listeners. All right. Do you have any last comments you want to share with listeners about Beauty Counter?
No, I just want to thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Ashley.